Excellent day for an exorcism.
Thrill me.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and today I'm joined by the one and only Brandon Watkins of the bands Year of the Knife, Damnations Domain, Ninth Cage, Fragged, and Dark Fiend, as well as one half of the company Candy Corpse, alongside his bandmate and life partner, Maddie. How's it going, man? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yo, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Everything's going great.
Oh, yeah. Now, and of course, I mentioned Candy Corpse. You know, you guys have some horror themed stuff up there, and it's mostly horror themed. What made you guys start that, and what's some of the things people can find over on the site?
So Candy Corp started as like stickers and stuff. We did like some Totoro stickers, some like Ghibli themed stuff. Um, and right now we're running. We as of late October, we got a bunch of horror themed stuff in. We always kind of do horror themed stuff. We've done like Ghostface and Sam from Trick or Treat and some other things. But right now we've got like a beautiful set that our friend Michelle did. And it's Art the Clown, Ghostface, Jason, Pinhead, and Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
And we do pins and stickers of that. We also have a blanket that's got that on it and a bunch of blood. It looks really cool.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. Definitely. I saw the picture of the pins and one of the posts, so I was stoked on those for sure. But
Hell yeah.
oh yeah. And then speaking of horror, we can dive right into the horror side of things. Pretty much my first question I like to ask all my guests is, what was your relationship with horror movies growing up, and did it change at all as you got older and became an adult?
So originally, horror movies scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Uh, I was so freaked out by them. We watched Poltergeist when I was really young, and the scene where they jump into the pool and it's filled with the skeletons really freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then later on to learn that those were real skeletons, like that was pretty fucking crazy to find out.
Yeah.
I don't know. My parents were sort of into it. Like my mom was into 13 Ghosts a lot when that came out. We used to pirate movies. And she was like really big into pirating movies, and that came out and we watched it a ton of times on the computer. And I really liked that movie. As I started to get older, something that really kicked off my love for horror movies was the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, I highly, highly recommend it. But seeing that like with my cousins and stuff, my cousin got it for Christmas or his birthday or something.
Yeah.
And we all watched it in my aunt's living room. And I was just like, this is fucking awesome. And that really inspired a love for like zombie movies and horror movies and all that kind of stuff. And as I keep getting older, I start getting more and more into horror. I start reading Stephen King. And that opens up a whole new door for me. I mean, I used to watch like the Stephen King movies on Sci-Fi Channel. They used to come on like the Second Salem's Lot was really good, and I watched The Shining, and that was really big for me. And the first book I read was The Green Mile, which isn't really a horror book, but it's got supernatural elements to it.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And from there, I just kept going, and I kept reading more Stephen King stuff, and I kept getting more into horror as a genre. It's been a long journey, but it's I love it. I love horror so much.
Oh yeah. No, I had the same kind of journey myself where I was scared of it growing up. And then a few of the like funner horror movies throughout the early 2000s, like Dawn of the Dead, 13 Ghosts, even some stuff like Wrong Turn, where they had scary moments, but they weren't like terrifying, and they were terrifying when you're younger and stuff, but there's enough fun moments in between, for the levity to keep you from being just terrified the entire time. So I'm with you. It kind of took me from, the stuff I watched when I was a kid, with, the first the miniseries and stuff.
Yes.
Like that scared the shit out of me as a kid. But as I got older, I got to see stuff that was, and that was mostly just like horrifying stuff. Like there was a few jokes cracked in because of Richie, Trash Mouth or whatever. But
right.
No, I didn't really. That's what kind of made me a fan too. And there was still some scary stuff coming out in the early 2000s, like the Ring remake, the Grudge remake, and stuff like that was really scary. But there was enough fun stuff to make it like an easy segue into adulthood, as well as like not being so scared to watch like everything.
Absolutely. And that I remember seeing that the It miniseries when I was like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
and the when they first come back together as adults and there's balloons filled with blood and they pop, that will always stick with me. Like, because that was such a scary moment.
Yeah.
Um, and the remake of The Grudge is fucking. It's still terrifying.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a scary ass movie,
Yeah, when she's like got the sheet and she like opens it up and the thing's just like in there on, like between her legs. I'm like, fuck that
dude.
shit. That's exactly the fear I have.
Horrible.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. Well, you mentioned quite a few movies that, like were like kind of monumental in like your growing up and, to being a lover of horror movies. Do you have any horror movies that stick out as like favorites of all time? And of course, feel free to shout out like a few. You don't just have to shout out like the top one, but if you have that top one, feel free to shout it out.
So some of my favorites, absolutely my probably my top favorite is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one.
Okay.
Um, the first kill where he hits the dude with the in the head with the hammer, and it's like a doorway shot. That is just like, well, I guess yeah. That's just horrible.
Yeah.
Like, what a horrible way to die, and he's convulsing on the ground. Like that was just so like such a horrible, beautiful picture to be painted.
Yeah. It's so raw that it almost looks like you're watching somebody really get hit with a hammer on the head and
Dude,
shit.
it's horrible,
Yeah.
but I loved it. Some of my favorites, I some new school favorites are Terrifier.
Hell yeah.
Um, when he pulls the gun out and he shoots the girl, it's just like that blew my fucking mind. I couldn't believe that he fucking did that. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I love Hereditary. You have a Hereditary book in your background.
Oh yeah.
Hereditary was phenomenal. That scared the shit out of me. It's such an anxiety ride. It just like the whole thing was amazing, and then for such a big payoff at the end, it was really wonderful.
Yeah.
Back to the old school. Another of my favorites is the Halloween series. I love Halloween 1 and 2. I like Halloween 2 more because uh, Michael just kind of goes off on a rampage in the hospital, and it's like fucked up, so
Yeah.
crazy. There's so many that I could name. I could just sit here and be like, these are my favorites. The Dawn of the Dead remake is one of my all time favorites too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm right there with you. And that was one of the things I enjoyed about Terrifier was when he pulled out the gun, I was like, hell yeah, he's not fucking around and stuff. And then did you see Terrifier 2 and 3 yet? Or
Yes.
hell yeah. What'd you think of those?
Terrifier 2 is really good, but it's really long. That was my only complaint about it is there's like the whole section where she's like almost date raped where her friend slips her a drug.
Yeah.
I felt like that was like totally unnecessary, but I'm not a movie director. You know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah.
my critique of it. I felt like it could have been skipped over. Terrifier 3 I loved.
Yeah.
So loved it. And I won't go into too much details about it because it's still pretty new. But I really, really enjoyed that movie. There's a lot of fun stuff in it. There's a lot of horrible stuff in it. I had a funny movie theater experience seeing it. I was sitting next to this girl and her friend, and Maddie's on the left side of me, my wife Maddie, and this girl and her friend are to the right. And they walk into the movie like probably like 10 minutes late, so it's like the first kill is starting to happen, and the girl's going, "Ew, ew." And she keeps looking over at her friend and she's going, "You like this? You like this?" And she keeps going, "This is disgusting. This isn't even scary. This is just gross." And I turned around and I looked at her and I was just looking at her laughing because it was just like it was too much, you know what I mean? And she was like, "This shit ain't even scary." I was like, You're tripping. Like, I don't know what you're doing in this theater." It was crazy. It was pretty funny.
Nah, it took
She chilled out.
hell yeah. No, I went the first time because I went like opening night by myself because I wanted to see it so bad, and I didn't really have anybody around here that would go with me. My wife doesn't like horror movies at all, so what she
Oh
does,
wow.
like she'll watch them with me. Like she likes Midsummer, and like she does like respect Hereditary, but it's so scary she won't watch it again and stuff. And she likes Sleepaway Camp, and she likes some
Oh
fun
hell
stuff,
yeah.
but only like stuff she really like. She'll rewatch stuff she grew up on, like Sleepaway Camp, Jeepers Creepers, but she doesn't really love like. She doesn't love gory stuff really, so she definitely won't watch
I see.
Terrifier with me. But so like she won't watch that when Evil Lurks, all that type of stuff. But So when I went and saw Terrifier, I just went by myself, and then so I was like, I want to see it again. Let me find a reason to go again. So I like hit up my cousin, who I go to some movies with. Like I think the last thing we went to was Iron Claw. Like it wasn't really a horror movie or anything.
Yeah.
And so I hit him up. And I was like, Hey, you want to go see Terrifier 3? He's like, He's like, I think I watched the first one a couple years ago on Netflix. He's like, I'll go. So we went, and like he didn't
Oh my
react,
God.
like he didn't react much during it. But like afterwards, when we walked out, he was like, "That was probably the goriest horror movie I've ever seen in my entire life." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, mission
No
accomplished."
joke.
Yeah.
That movie is intense. I
And
love
some,
it. Oh, you got a cat.
yeah, my little buddy Freddie will come terrorize me.
My
But
cat's sleeping in here. Sorry.
I know you're fine. No, the second time I did go, somebody did walk out during it, and never came back.
Damn.
Yeah. Which
Damn.
somebody walked out during the second time I saw Midsummer too. They like left and didn't come back.
Really? I could see that. Midsummer's kind of gory. It's got some parts that are just like a little, if you're squeamish, it's not for you, you know?
Yeah. Now all the three movies I think I've seen walkouts are those two, and then actually another one that was recent was The Substance. I don't know if you saw that yet, but
No, I didn't get to see The Substance yet, but I heard it's phenomenal.
yeah, a older. Of course, it was like an older lady there by herself. I think just coming to see it because of the cast and stuff. And she bailed because it was like a midday showing, and she was like the only person in the crowd solo and not really feeling it. But other than that, it was a super fun experience because like the whole rest of the crowd was having fun and stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
When I saw Terrifier 2 and 3, there were children in the theater, like little kids. And that just blows my mind because it's like I understand like not really worrying about what you're showing your kids because my parents didn't.
yeah,
My parents didn't care. Like I played violent video games, I listened to violent music, and I watched violent movies
yeah.
as a kid. But just something about that felt a little distasteful to me. I was a little turned off by it. I was like, "What are you guys doing with these kids in this movie? This movie's fucked up."
Yeah, that movie's another level of gore because like I have a 4-year-old and I show him a bunch of like we play which is not really gory or anything, but we play like Little Nightmares together and like Poppy's
Oh
Playtime
yeah.
and stuff. So he's like he's into that stuff, and then he also watches like I think he ended up watching Idle Hands was probably one of the goriest things he's watched.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it was more by default. We were like on a trip and we were all in an area watching it on like a projector, and he had like a whole little living room to himself where he could watch whatever he wanted and play with toys. And we asked him, "Do you want to sit with us or do you want to?" And he was like, "I want to watch this." So and then afterwards he watched.
Oh,
Once he likes something, he asks to watch it every night. Like he'll ask to watch Krampus randomly. Like
oh my God,
because
that's
he loves
awesome.
Krampus. But of course, like I wouldn't show him Terrifier because I'm with you. It's like there's a difference between like stuff that just might scare them and might have them a little bit on the edge of their seat, and then there's stuff that might scar them. And like watching somebody getting their head chopped off is scarring. Like
Yeah, like I just I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, of course, my parents took me. I My favorite movie growing up was The Matrix.
you know,
So from the time I was like 7, I had that on VHS and I would watch it every day. And they took me in the theaters to see The Matrix 2, Reloaded, which was really cool for me. But I'm sure there was adults in the theater that were like, "What is this kid doing in here?"
you know.
But Terrifier is just a whole nother level. You know, I don't really understand.
Yeah, I would at least want to see Terrifier by myself first before I brought my kids. So hopefully they at least did
Yes.
that and made the decision. But and I'm not ashamed. I'm not trying to shame anybody. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally do it. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
but no, and I remember when I saw the Black Christmas remake, I was up like on a trip to Detroit as a teenager to visit some family, and we went to a theater to see the Black Christmas remake, and there was literally a baby in there like crying and stuff. I was like, what the
Oh
fuck?
my God. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was like, oh, whatever.
I'm a big believer in movie theater etiquette.
Yeah,
I really respect the theater, and I like when the theater respects me. Um, I'm known to tell people to shut the fuck up.
yeah,
I can be kind of mean, but like sometimes it's obnoxious. Like we saw Lupin the Third, the Ghibli. I don't know if it was Ghibli or whatever, but it was like it's like an animated movie. It was like CG animation. It was beautiful.
yeah.
And there's these two girls in the theater, and every 5 seconds they just start talking, and I went, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" And they dead silent. And then Maddie said that when I left the theater to go to the bathroom, they started talking again, and when I came back in, they shut up.
Hell yeah, sometimes you got to. I drive like an extra 30 minutes to a theater just because I had so many bad experiences at the theater I was going to, and it was some of it was people coming in and treating it like a restaurant more than a theater because it's one of those like dine-in theaters, and then
Oh, I see.
the other half of it was literally the theater. Like I went to see that movie Cuckoo when it came out, and they
Yeah.
hadn't downloaded it on time because everything's digital these days.
Yeah.
They hadn't downloaded it on time, and literally were telling us like, oh, we don't know when it's gonna start, but you can just take your seat and like it'll
What the
start when
fuck?
it's supposed to start. And this was like the premiere showing, obviously, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. And like I didn't bitch or nothing, but you think they would at least give you like, oh, here we gave you all 10% off because of whatever on your
Yes.
food. Nothing. They just literally like you can wait. Like that's your
That's
option. Like,
crazy. I didn't see that movie, but that's Hunter Schafer, right?
yeah, no, I really enjoyed
I
that one.
love Hunter Schafer.
No, I definitely recommend it. I think it's on Hulu now, so if you want to check it out, it's
I'll have to
streaming.
check it out because
No,
Maddie likes her too.
hell yeah. No, and Dan Stevens is in it too, which I really enjoy Dan Stevens. So I don't know if you
Mm.
enjoy him, but
Mm-mm.
he's the guy that's from that movie The Guest. He was also in Abigail recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It sounds sick.
Hell yeah. No, no. Do you have any other favorites you want to shout out before I jump into the back half where I ask like a few hypothetical questions that mix the music and movies and stuff? And don't feel pressure too. I just always like to ask before I move on.
No, I mean, I'm a big fan of the genre. I love it. I love the Evil Dead movies. I even like the new Evil Dead movies. I think those are great.
Oh yeah, same.
Um, I'm a Rob Zombie Halloween apologist. I loved his Halloweens. I thought that they were really good and really gory and really gross.
Oh yeah, I like the first one. I'm not
Um,
a huge fan of the second one, but
yeah, that's what everybody says, and I'm like, it was cool. They did the whole second movie in 5 minutes. It was crazy.
I like it
Um,
more over the years for sure. So,
yeah, one of my favorites is Jeepers Creepers 2.
hell yeah, yeah, that's a good
When
one.
they're on the bus and everything, I thought that was really cool. And like, it's funny because like in Damnations Domain, well, in Year of the Knife as well, we're all huge horror buffs. We all really like movies and we all really like horror movies. Um, and Rich, our guitar player, is always talking about Jeepers Creepers 3 and 4 and how bad they were. And he's just like he's always talking about Jeepers Creepers. I don't know what it is about him and Jeepers Creepers, but he loves it. So it's just I had to give him a shout out because I was talking about Jeepers Creepers too.
Oh yeah. No, that's one of my wife's favorites too. She likes the second one too, so we revisit those often, even though, of course there's stuff behind the director, which we won't get into, but uh,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah.
Freak.
But it's one of those things. I already own the movie, so he's not getting any money when I watch them because I'm just watching
Yeah,
them. So
hell yeah.
on
Those
physical
movies
media.
are great. I really I the first one's great, but like the second one really does it for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because they're like fighting him the whole time. Like I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, no, that's what makes some of those sequels so fun. Like Child's Play 2 and Jeepers Creepers 2 and even Halloween 2 and one of my favorites, Phantasm 2, is that you get like the villain's already been established, so you kind of get the villain the whole movie, which not really in Phantasm 2, but you already kind of know what you're up against and stuff.
Right.
Uh, but with the other ones, like you're getting the villain the whole movie instead of like that huge break in the like Halloween. You get the first incident, and then there's like a huge break where he's just kind of barely like lingering in the shadows, and then same thing with Chucky, he kind of comes out when it's when there's nobody around and does his thing, and then kind of same thing with Jeepers Creepers. The first half of the movie they're playing like they're chasing them around and they're kind of like going in the tunnel and playing detective, and it's not till like the 45-minute mark that the creeper or whatever is actually like chasing them and shit like that, and
Yeah.
which that becomes like the funnest half of the movie. But like you said, the whole second movie from the first scene and like is that family talking about him and like he's the scarecrow instead of like he's already active pretty much from the
Yeah.
rip of the movie. So no, and the fact that they're stuck in one spot also makes it kind of cool in the second movie because the first movie they're moving around in that car the whole time through the town,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it makes it a lot more scary you're more scared for the people because there's more for them and there's more for them to just pick off. So it's kind of become a little slasherish where he's going to kill multiple people instead of just cat and mouse one the whole time.
It's sick.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking just off the rip. I was thinking about slasher movies, and I saw that they did a trailer for that new movie. It's going to be called Clown in a Cornfield.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know if you saw that, but I didn't watch it because I'm not big on watching trailers. I feel like they give too much away. Um, but I read the book for that and really loved it. So I'm pretty pumped on that coming out. Shout
Oh
out
yeah.
Clown in a Cornfield.
Yeah, I checked out the trailer, and I'm kind of stoked for it too. Not because I didn't read the book, but my buddy said that he enjoyed the book a lot. And then the director is the same guy that did Tucker and Dale versus Evil, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't seen that, but I've
Oh,
heard a lot about it.
Yeah, it's super fun. So I figured between the two, it's got to be and it's super. It's a horror comedy, so it's like super fun, but also gory as I was gonna say gory as shit, but it's not really that gory. It just it doesn't shy away from the gore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm definitely excited for him to do a slasher and kind of he's supposedly he's gonna have a little comedy in it too, which I didn't read the book, but so I don't know if the
Yeah,
book did, but
it's funny. It's about like teenagers and stuff. It's cool. It was it I thought that I was just like I didn't really know what I was getting into when I read it. I usually go into stuff like I like going into the movies blind. I like going into books blind. So I was like, you start off in there in school and stuff, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then I kept reading, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fucking crazy.
you know,
And then it just, gets crazier and crazier. It's great. I recommend it.
hell yeah. No, and then, of course, at the back end of the show, I like to ask a few hypothetical questions, and usually it's just two, and then one final question I ask all my guests. But I added a third one for you because you guys do the Candy Corpse company. And the first hypothetical question is, if you could do any, design for the Candy Corpse brand, like say you did a run of designs for a certain movie, what movie would you choose to, do something for the brand
Well,
that you haven't done, of course? Yeah.
we haven't done Halloween yet. So I'd really like to do Halloween. I would love to do like the mask, the shape, you
Yeah.
know. I think that that would be really cool. It'd be really cute. Um like some hearts or something. I don't know. Something crazy. I'd have to sketch around a little bit. Um yeah, I think that we're missing something in that character because that's such a staple character,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm down to do anything. Maddie just does what she likes. So it's like if she loves Sam from Trick or Treat. So we've done a lot of Sam stuff.
Yeah.
She loves Ghostface. We've done a lot of Ghostface stuff. So I think that a Michael Myers pin would be pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah. Nah, and there's a lot you could do with Michael Myers because you could do, the original OG, you could do the burned up one from the newer movies, you could do the bleeding eyes from Halloween 2, you could do the three masks from Halloween 3,
Yeah.
nah, I'm with you. Scream's my favorite too, so shout out to Ghostface.
Shout out Ghostface for real.
No, hell yeah. But and then my second hypothetical question is if somebody gave you the reins to score a horror movie, but you got to pick this subgenre, what kind of subgenre would you like to score? Would you like to do a slasher film, a sci-fi horror film, supernatural, cult film?
I would love to do like Jason X,
Hell yeah.
like sci-fi horror. I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool. You know how they did like for the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack, it was all like crazy ass new metal bands and like heavy metal music. Like I would love to do like a sci-fi slasher with like modern like heavy. I just think it would be really cool because it's like I feel like that's such an untapped movie genre sound is like modern hardcore metal, those kinds of things. I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool.
Yeah, every now and then you'll catch like a heavy song in a movie, but it's usually like one song and that's it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm
Not
saying. Bring back the whole soundtrack. We need it.
Yeah. Now and then of course you have like there's like some cult films like I was watching for the first time I watched Cecil B. Demented this past week. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a John
No, I've
Waters
never
movie.
seen that.
Yeah, it's and John Waters is from Baltimore and stuff and he like, loves hardcore punk, but half the soundtrack is The Locust. So it was like
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah, I was like listening to it. I was like, damn, this is shit that I want in movies nowadays, especially when people are like running from cops or, doing this and that. So,
Yeah, for
but
sure. That's fucking sick. Like, uh, it's cool. It's the music goes a long way. One of the cooler soundtracks that I've seen lately was the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack. Had a lot of cool like metalcore and hardcore music in it.
oh
Even in
yeah.
the anime, they did an episode that had like a crazy heavy song in it, and I had to look it up. I had to be like, "What is this?" Because it was like it caught my ear.
Yeah.
It's sick.
No, fuck yeah. Nah, that's the thing is every now and then you'll find something cool like that movie Presence that just came out had a basement song in it, which is not heavy but it's
Oh
still cool.
wow,
Yeah. Covet was in it. I was like, fuck
that's
yeah.
awesome.
I didn't even see the movie. They just the dudes from Basement posted on their like IG that they went and saw it just because they were in song was in the movie. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I
But
bet. I heard that that movie was not that cool, but I haven't seen it, so I'll reserve my judgment.
I've heard that it's good, but definitely don't expect to be scared at all. It's more like kind of like a sad ghost story. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, dude, I'm not into that, so I'll probably skip it.
yeah, now that's one that I don't. I'll watch it eventually, but it's not gonna be at the top of my list. And then I definitely don't care to go see it in theaters. Like I would have been bummed if I went and saw it in theaters, and then it was okay. But
Yeah. We've seen a lot of the movies that we've gone and seen have been horror movies like recently. Mostly what we've seen is horror movies. Like we saw Nosferatu, which was
fuck yeah,
phenomenal. Really, really enjoyed that. That was a beautiful movie.
yeah,
Um and lots of monster fucking. I love the monster fucking.
yeah,
Um
hanging
then we
dong.
saw yeah, for real, it was crazy. Then we saw Wolfman, which was terrible. Well, it
Yeah,
wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
I'm with you.
Um
It just was. It's like there's nothing special
yeah.
about it. It's like it was a movie. I wasn't mad I saw it, I guess, but I was like I could watch it at home. I went and saw that too in theaters. So
Yeah, the acting was good, but it was just like the werewolves looked goofy. It was interesting. It was an interesting movie. I don't recommend watching it, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good.
yeah.
And then we just saw Hard Eyes,
Oh yeah, how was that?
like
That's one I haven't caught yet.
the day after Valentine's Day, I think.
Yeah.
It's a Valentine's Day movie, so it was cute. There was some really good kills in it. It was great. Our guitar player Rich hated it, um, which is funny because he just he's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's all I got on that one. But I enjoyed it, and Maddie really loved it. So it was fun. It was like that movie Freaky.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
It like Freaky Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? Like this was a like a rom com slasher. It was sick.
Oh
It
yeah.
was an interesting idea, and I enjoyed it.
Now definitely check that one out soon. And the last two I checked out were, of course, I saw Nosferatu and The Wolfman, but then I saw Companion, which was really good. And then
Oh, that looks awesome.
yeah, and then I saw The Monkey, which was pretty good as well. So
Oh, and I'm really excited about the monkey because I love Stephen King. I
yeah.
want to see the monkey. Our guitar player Aaron saw the monkey, and I believe Andy saw it too, our drummer, and they really enjoyed it. So
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to it because their taste in movies is usually pretty close to mine. They love horror movies. We all love movies, so it's cool.
Okay. No, hell yeah. I had to get some of the rest of the band on the show for sure if they're down.
Yeah, you should. I know they would love to talk about movies.
Hell yeah. Now, and then of course, my last of the hypothetical before I ask my last question that I ask all my guests is, if somebody came to you and threw you an unlimited budget to do a music video, but they wanted you to pick a horror movie to make into, to kind of like remake into a little music video featuring you and the band, what horror movie would you choose and how would you do it as a music video?
So, like I was talking about how Rich is obsessed with Jeepers Creepers. For Damnations Domain, we would have to do a Jeepers Creepers video.
Hell yeah.
And Rich even like goes so far as to like shoot. He's got like a camera, and he's like doing test shots. He's been doing lots of little test shots in different horror movie masks and stuff, and it's all been so beautiful. So I would let him direct it. But I would love to do a Jeepers Creepers video where it's just like the creeper doing fucked up shit. I
Oh
think
yeah.
that would be super sick.
And that's an easy one to set up with the band because you can have either scenario, Jeepers Creepers 1, where you kind of like stumble across him as you're driving. You kind of have like a back and forth with his truck that kicks off, him slaughtering you guys. Or
Oh
you could
yeah,
have the second part where, you kind of break down on the side of the road and as you're stuck, he's like, coming for you guys like the bus. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure. It would be cool to mash up both ideas. You
yeah.
know?
No, hell yeah. Yeah, you could have like the run-in with them and then you guys are stuck on the side of the road later with a
Yeah,
flat tire
it'd
and
be
that's when,
sick.
yeah. No, fuck yeah. No, and then of course, my last question that I like to ask all my guests is, do you have a horror story of your own? It could be from, something with one of the bands. It could be with, something in your personal life, or if you have something paranormal. And I know you guys have kind of like a very public horror story. We don't have to talk about that or anything like, with the accident and everything. But anything else, if you have anything like more like fun that you want to share, anything like that, like a fun horror
Yeah,
story.
the accident was definitely a horror story, but I don't remember any of it, so I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I've always felt kind of in touch with the paranormal. Like growing up, I've always lived in haunted houses. Like not like scary haunted, but like you can hear footsteps in the hallway, or like you get a weird feeling when you walk into the room, or like stuff like that. Like my third house I lived in when we moved to Delaware, we moved into this big farmhouse, and it was my grandmother's. My grandmother had two farms, and the farmhouse that we lived in um was haunted by her late husband.
Oh shit.
Um and my aunt used to tell us, like, when she was walking around through the house, she could feel his hands on her shoulders, like just walking with her.
Yeah.
Um and my mom used to drive around his truck, and one night at like 3 a.m. the car alarm, the truck just keeps, the horn is just going off, and it won't stop no matter what we do. So we had to like unplug it, but it was pretty freaky.
Holy shit.
And I feel like that was him being like, "Get the fuck out of my truck," because
Yeah.
I don't think he really liked any of my mom or my mom's family.
Yeah.
That house burnt down, so I haven't been back there since I was like 12. But yeah, that was pretty freaky. No real like ghost encounters or anything like that. I have an aunt that like is I don't know if clairvoyant is the word, but she like can see things sometimes, and she'll tell us, like, this is going to happen, or this. My great aunt
Yeah.
used to do stuff like that around the family. I never talked to her about it because I was so young when
Yeah.
she came around, and now she's pretty old. But yeah, I've always felt a little in touch with the paranormal, and I find it so interesting.
Oh yeah. No, I couldn't imagine growing up in a house that was like haunted and having experiences. After a few of them, I'd be like, I think I'm gonna either get emancipated or go live with an aunt or something.
Yeah, but it's like I was a little kid, so it's like, what do
No,
you
yeah,
do?
no.
You just got to get used to it.
No, I know what you mean. That's like every time I watch a horror movie with somebody and they're like, "Why didn't they just move out?" I'm like, "Cause fucking, can you just move out of your house right now?" Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
like shit, I can't even move out of fucking where I live, and like, fucking, I've been trying, trust me, but nah, no, hell yeah, man. But I appreciate you for coming on the show and sharing everything. Do you want to let anybody know about? Do you have anything coming up with any of your projects, or if you just want to remind them where they can find them, and also don't forget, don't this episode won't drop till like early May, so as far as like releases or shows coming up or anything.
Okay. So Damnations Domain is doing a few shows with Morbid Visions,
Oh yeah,
which will be really sick in May. Check out Damnations Domain. Check out Ninth Cage, our emo band. Check out Year of the Knife. Check out all my other shit, Fragged, Dark Fiend, if you like black metal. And definitely check out Candy Corpse for horror shit. We've got lots of cool horror shit.
oh yeah, and of course I'll have the website for that in the description of the episode, and then of course links to the band stuff, as
Sick.
well.
Thank you
But
so much.
of course, man, I appreciate you for coming on the show. And, for anybody listening, just wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube or, Spotify and all that, just make sure you like, subscribe, rate, whatever is necessary for that platform. And thank you guys for listening. But I appreciate you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.